Our Capitol conversation with 5 Virginia governors continues now with a segment you need to hear before heading to the polls. Back to the Executive Mansion in Richmond. As we wrap up here, I'd like you all to address the voters of Virginia, the people who will pick the next person to live in this House. And as they're looking at the next chief executive, setting aside the obvious list of Boy Scout virtues, what kind of trait or quality or skill should voters look for when they're picking their next chief executive? And I'll start with the current governor, Tim Kaine.
The one that just comes to mind, being willing to do what's right, whether it's popular or unpopular. You know, I think at the end of the day, kind of background, guts, heart, character, that's what you look at, because we can talk about issues that we know will be issues, but let's face it, every governor also deals with a lot of issues that nobody had on the radar screen. And the only way to make a judgment about whether somebody will be good is at dealing with the unforeseen challenges. And we didn't know we were going to be living through the worst economy since the 1930s during my term, and nobody was voting for a candidate based on that awareness. But if you make your pick based on your assessment of somebody's character, values, backbone, guts, heart, then you will have a sense of what they'll be able to do, whatever the issue is. So I think those are the traits ultimately that are the most important.
Governor Gilmore.
I think that the day calls for a chief executive and a candidate for governor who will focus on problem solving and will begin to address the critical issues of the state, the finances of the state, the transportation of the state, these fundamental issues that are also being discussed at the national level. But it doesn't mean that one particular point of view offers the solution. So the candidate and the chief executive is going to have to express a vision and a leadership and bringing forward out of their particular set of values and personality and political philosophy. Well, there isn't just one proposed solution to any of these problems. We have to, in fact, have a chief executive who will offer a vision and make that case so that we can move the state forward in the 21st century.
I think the most important thing for the voters in determining who they're going to vote for is, sure, the candidates will all have different stands on issues, which are important. But I think in this job, which you're treated better than anybody ought to be treated. I moved from a log house in between Earlysville and Free Union to here. Susan was really thrilled by it, but it's also a lonely position. There are a lot of times you're alone making some really tough decisions, and you want to sleep well every night thinking that you've made the best decision based on the information. So I think for voters, and Tim mentioned it, character is what are their guiding principles? What is their philosophy of government? Because that's your touchstone when making decisions is, what's the right role of government? What's the role of a governor? What can we do consistent with that philosophy and those principles, to improve the opportunities for all people in Virginia to lead successful lives, safe communities, a variety of different approaches for jobs and opportunity. But clearly, I think that somebody's adherence to guiding principles, a philosophy of government, a rudder in their life to be making those decisions when it's just them alone, making momentous decisions that can affect obviously millions or one person.
Courage of conviction and commitment to stay the course, to do what's right, and to listen to people and not be dogmatic, to be in a position to weigh it and not be knee-jerk. Management skills, though. Are you in a position to handle people? Do you know anything about money, taxpayers' money, and how you handle it? How would you spend it? Accountability. Now you take it all and put it together, ultimately it comes out to say you're looking for the best possible CEO you can find, who can manage people, who can work with people, who can be accountable, who can be responsible, and who is not afraid to do what's right.
Character and integrity. It's a great opportunity when you're elected governor of Virginia, because as I wrote to Jim Gilmore when I congratulated him for winning, Jim, you're getting into a job where you can't be reelected, so you really have an opportunity to do exactly what you think is right. And that's what the opportunity is, and with character and integrity, as Tim mentions, that's what you have the right the opportunity to do. The spotlight is on you, at least for a while, and you will be very influential over a large group of people. And if you do what you think is right, they're going to support you. That's the beauty, particularly of the one-term system that we have.
We'll be right back.